Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm about to go and train with one of my teammates. We're going to get a full technical session in today, so really working on the fundamentals, the basics, passing and receiving, getting as many reps as we possibly can, because that's so important to sharpen those up all the time. Even though it's much more enjoyable to work on skill moves, on free kicks and things like that, you need to be working on the absolute core of the game, which is passing and receiving as often as possible, because 95% of the game, if you watch a 90-minute game, it's just passing and moving, and then there's those moments where those skillful players do produce moments of flair, but the majority of the game is being able to pass the ball and receive it consistently and keep the ball and try and create chances for your team. So that's the main focus of today's session, and as you will notice with it, you don't need much room whatsoever to set up the drills. The entire training space that we're going to be using is about 15 meters by 15 meters, but we're not even using that entire space, just working in the little pockets of it. So you can set up these drills at home. You don't need much equipment for them whatsoever. Use whatever you have lying around the house just to mark out the drills, and if you don't have a training partner, you can perform all of these drills just using a wall. So you can do the session at home individually by yourselves, and as far as reps and sets, my recommendation is just do as many as you can. It's not very taxing work on the legs. We're not doing a lot of fitness work involved in today's session, but the more reps you do, the more comfortable and more muscle memory you're going to build. Just do it as many as you possibly can. It's not very tiring on the legs whatsoever. So it's going to be a really good session. We're probably going to go for about 90 minutes or so, but let's get over there and get into the session. So we started the session as we always do with a bit of a warm-up, but this time we didn't actually go into a full thorough 10-minute warm-up just because the session itself was mainly technical, not involving much fitness or explosive activity whatsoever, so the body didn't need to be prepared in that way. We're just getting a lot of touches here, and as you'll notice, the session gets increasingly more intense as we go along. So we start off quite easy. So all we're doing is a first touch, then rolling the ball through the hurdle with the sole of the foot. So a good way to take the spin and all the speed out of the ball, just stopping it on the spot and then rolling it through. So working on a bit of ball mastery and some basic passing and receiving as well, just trying to fizz that ball along the ground. Then after a couple of minutes of the first exercise, we then progressed into a directional first touch. So very similar, but instead of stopping the ball on the spot and rolling it through, we're taking the ball completely through that gap in our first touch. So using the inside of our foot just to push it square across our body and then play it back with the opposite foot. So again, equal amount of reps with the left and right foot. Just getting on our toes. As you can see, I'm light on my feet as I'm receiving the ball, just so I can take the spin out of that ball and make a clean first touch along the ground. Then we progressed into the final variation. This was a little bit more challenging now, using the outside of our foot, and we added an extra hurdle in there as well. So having to keep on our toes in the middle and then playing the ball through the hurdle using the outside of our foot with a clean first touch. Then you have to be quick to get back to the middle to receive that next pass. So you need a good clean first touch to make sure you're not hitting the underside of that hurdle. If you don't have hurdles for any of these drills, you can just set up 2 cones or any other objects just to act as a gate to play the ball through. And if you don't have a partner, these are some variations you can do just using a wall. So as you can see, just doing the first variation here, passing the ball off the wall, then receiving it, stopping the ball completely, and then rolling it through with the sole. So you can just use a wall if you can do this in your house, in your garden, anywhere that you can possibly find with a wall, and you just need a little bit of space. And as you will notice with all of these drills, I'm not using more than maybe a 10-yard radius or so. So really short, sharp technical work, but really good stuff that's going to translate into the game. So make sure you're working on these fundamentals even if you don't have much room. As you can see here, I've progressed into the next one. So just playing the ball off of the wall, and then my touch is going through that hurdle. So keeping the ball moving this time using the inside of my feet, just being light on my toes, allowing the ball to come across my body with that first touch. And then I moved into the final progression as well. So starting off really slowly to begin with, just to get the rhythm down, and that's what I would recommend you do with all of these drills until you're comfortable with them. Start off really slow, and as you get more confident with them, you can increase the pace and intensity as well. As you can see here, getting a little bit quicker with it. But these are just some variations you can do just using a wall. So if you don't have a training partner, you can still work on these technical drills by yourself. Then we incorporated a little bit of quick feet, so nothing too intense, just working on the accuracy and coordination of our footwork, and then returning a volley back to the partner's hands. If you don't have a partner, you can set up a ladder facing a wall, or if you don't have a ladder, you can just do some cones to weave in and out of, and then you can just return the ball to and from the wall along the ground. So you can play the ball out the wall, then just take a slight touch out in front of you, get through that ladder, and then play the next pass. So always keeping on the move, just adding a little bit of technical work into your fitness work as well. So this is isn't too intense. As I said, we're just going a rep up with the right foot, and then we do a rep up with the left foot immediately after. Then we moved into some more passing and receiving, but this time incorporating the pole into it as well. So previously, we were working on just receiving that ball pretty much on the spot, taking a directional first touch. Now we're actually making a checking movement before receiving the ball. And this is what you want to be doing during a match. It's going to afford you more time and space if you can get away from your defender, even if it's just a yard or two. You'll see the top level midfielders, they're just always looking for those pockets of space to receive the ball in. Then we progress so that the person feeding the ball is taking one touch, so my movements have to be a little bit sharper now. And as you can see, I'm just checking over my shoulder as well. Even though there's no defenders behind me, I'm just developing that habit. It's always good to try and reenact those match situations in your training as well. So now we moved into some directional first touch, this time opening up our body. So as you can see, I'm receiving it with the inside foot and pushing it across. So this is a great directional first touch to take if you're behind a defender and you want to retain possession of that ball. And as you can see, still trying to check over my shoulders as well. So just working on a few different varieties of first touch and trying to keep those passes clean every time. Passing it back to my partner so he can play it back again first time as well. So having to focus on the weight of the pass and making sure I'm playing the right foot at the right time. Then we worked on another variation, this time taking the ball across our body with the outside foot, the furthest foot away from the pole. So just working on those basics, really honing in on the fundamentals, because as I've mentioned in previous videos, 95% of the game is passing and moving. So you really want a high quality first touch and distribution ability, because that's what you're going to be doing for the majority of the game. And then if you are a player that has some skills or some flair about you, you will find those opportunities at the right moment, but you need to have the fundamentals down to an elite quality before advancing onto those more complicated techniques. Then we moved into a final passing and receiving drill, this time working around this pole, working at an angle as well. So what I'm doing is receiving the ball with my back foot, then immediately trying to play it with my closer foot. So trying to minimize the time between controlling the ball and passing it. So this is going to increase your speed of play if you can do this really effectively. If you can receive the ball and distribute it in a split second, you can get your team on the attack quicker. You can open up opportunities for your team to score. So not much fitness involved with this one, just getting a lot of touches, barely moving, just creating a tiny bit of space as the ball's coming. As you can see, I back it up slightly just to receive the ball on the backside of that pole. So small checking movements, as you can see, still trying to check over my shoulder before the ball comes as well. Just developing these habits over and over again. If you can keep doing these over and over again in your training sessions, even when there's no defenders around, it's just going to become automatic when you have players around you, and that will translate over to a match situation as well. You want to be checking over your shoulder before you receive the pass so you can assess your options and make the best decisions. It's also going to increase your speed of play as well, so that you don't receive the ball and then trying to decide what to do with it next. You've already got a couple of ideas in your head before the ball's even at your feet. So as you can see here, just moved on to the other side, so I'm receiving it with my back foot again. I'm just adjusting to it however it comes, but trying to receive it with my right foot and play it immediately with my left foot. Then as the ball rebounds off the wall, I'm then controlling with my left foot onto my right. As you can see, and probably hear, it started to really thunder and lightning. I'm not bothered about the rain, I'll train in the rain all day long, but thunder and lightning is never a good idea to be out in the open. So we're going to call it there. We did have a couple more drills we wanted to do, but we'll save those for next time, and we do have team training tonight, so it's probably a good place to stop there. We've got loads of good practical touches, stuff that's really going to translate into the game, so we've probably got hundreds of touches there. And as you can see, we just used this small area, so you can do this at home in your garden. You don't need much room whatsoever, and if you don't have a training partner, you can do a lot of these drills using just a wall and still get loads and loads of practical touches that are really going to help you when it comes to a match situation. So really good stuff today, lots of touches, very happy with it. Built up a bit of a sweat too, but no fitness incorporated, just technical work. So really good stuff, and we're looking forward to training tonight. Hopefully the storm passes over. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button for weekly training videos, and I will see you guys in the next video.